And once you start to see the pyramid scheme, you'll start to see it come together in some really, really cool ways. And
if that's not the title of this episode, we're doing it wrong. The pyramid scheme of content.
Yes. Yes. The best way to grow with content is using this pyramid scheme or something.
Yeah, one pyramid scheme you're going to want to be a part of.
We're here with another Coaching with Content podcast. I'm Darren, and I'm here with the one and only Mr. Dustin Peed. How are we this morning, my friend?
We're a bit crusty-eyed, but we're getting there. Feel good about it. Be a good
crusty-eyed. The time of this recording is in the middle of March Madness, so I assume you stayed up watching all the basketball games and hanging out with all the friends.
The second part, yes, hanging out with people for sure. Did not stay up for all of them. Woke up to 6 teams that massively disappointed me yesterday. So I'm 10 for 16 to start.
Okay.
Not my best start.
Yeah. Well, I haven't even checked mine this morning, so you're better.
Already got one of my Elite 8 out. So
that hurts. That hurts. Oh, gotta hate that.
How's your bracket?
Yeah.
Anyway,
March Madness fun, but that's not what we're here to talk about. This is not a March Madness podcast. This is a Coaching with Content podcast. And today, where we are headed, I'm excited about this conversation. We teed it up a little bit last week, but talking about the secret to consistent content and give you a little bit of a framework on how to make sure that you stay consistent. And I think the big thing that I want to point out and really kind of, I guess, pose the question to you, Dustin, is why is consistent content so important?
Yeah, I mean, I think consistency in anything is important if you're going to be relevant, right? So, we're both parents. That's where my brain goes immediately is like consistency in how I parent each kid breeds the results that I want. Otherwise, it's like, why don't you just get this? And they're like, I don't really know what you're talking about. So, coaching is no different, right? It's and your content is no different. It's consistency that wins. Anybody who's excellent at anything will tell you it's being consistent in it that got them there. And they might not be able to come out directly and say that to you, but in their answer, you're going to hear threads of consistency throughout it.
For sure. I mean, I even think of like some of the major sports figures over the years, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Like there's so many stories you hear of them being there before everybody else, staying there after everybody else, and doing that not just once, not just twice, but like over the length of their career, right? Just consistently showing up so that when they had the opportunity to take the shots or do the things, like they were there, they were ready. Right. And I think ultimately, if you kind of lay that over, a coaching business or creating content consistently, right? The reason that you do that and why consistency is important is because it ultimately builds trust.
Yeah.
If you're not in front of people don't know who you are, what you do, even why you do it. And then it's just one of those things, you're not, it's not that you're not trustworthy. That's what I'm not saying that. It's just more, you're not top of mind at that point. Yeah. And that's why consistency, I think, is so key to making it. It helps build your authority. And we like we say all the time around here, people do business with those they know, like, and trust.
That's right.
And as a coach, that's the biggest thing that you have to do. You have to get people to trust you because you're saying, hey, I can take you to X place, right? I can get you there if you follow these frameworks and follow these steps. And that's what's going to ultimately, they just have to trust you to get there. And that's what that's all about. So that's why consistency is so key in what we're doing. And ultimately your audience needs to hear your message more than once before they're going to act. I think there's sayings that I don't even know how many touch points they're saying now from a marketing message, but your audience needs to hear about you or your offer 7, 8, 9, 10 times before they're ever going to act. So for us, it sounds like we're just saying the same thing over and over and over again. And yet our audience hasn't even begun to get to the place where they're going to take action until it's 7 times, till it's 10 times, till it's multiple connections. And that's why consistent content is key. Yeah. And another question that pops up in that, because Dustin, I think you know me well enough, and if you're listening to this, you're going to probably learn this about me, is that I love getting things started right out the gate. For instance, we are 2 episodes in on this podcast, and I am all about it, right? Like, I love it. I can stay consistent. I'm here for it, right? But what does episode 52 look like? You know, like, am I as excited, or is it one of those that I the other things in the business become more important in my mind than this? And I think we're all like that a little bit, but for me especially, I know my personality to know, like, I love getting things started, and then it's like, okay, what's the next shiny thing that I can go off to, right? And guys like Dustin keep me in line. That's
SOS,
really
shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, totally.
Send out the SOS.
Yeah, send it out for sure, because man, it gets me every time. But that's where, like, if I look at the course of my life, that's one thing that I know that I struggle with. So if you're a coach or a consultant, I know it's easy to look at content and go, that's not as important as, right? You have a list of things that you have to do. You have to coach. And if you're building a team, now you have your team members that you got to kind of help run and make sure that they're doing what needs to be done. And like, all of the other things in the business begin to overtake the importance of the content, right? So it's easy to go, I don't need to do that. And that's, I know, my biggest struggle. But the reason that consistency is important, or I guess that's why I struggle with it. But why do you think others struggle with staying consistent, Dustin?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too different. I think starting is fun for sure. And finishing sounds fun, but it takes more work. And I really think it's a discipline issue, probably, if we come down to it. How someone can stay disciplined enough to stay consistent in anything, right? And again, to use that athlete analogy again, like, you ask athletes how they do what they do. Yes, you're going to hear consistency, but even deeper than that, you're going to hear a lot of self-discipline, whether they asked people into the process to help them be that disciplined in order to get it done, or they just figured out whatever switch they need to flip in their own brain to say, this is what it's going to take for me to do it. Some people, it's, I need a post-it note reminder. Some people, it's, I need a phone call. Some people, it's, motivated by money. Some people, it's motivated by passion. I mean, we can get psychologically deep into why people are driven to do what they do. But at the end of the day, I think it's the answer is also discipline. And what level of discipline does it come in at? Some people are great at starting. Some people are great at finishing. I would say the majority are great at starting, because starting is fun. And then when our fun turns into work, we go, wait, I'm not having fun anymore. And then we run from it. Right.
That's really well said. That's really well said. And it was like you were reading my mail. So stop it.
I do know you there.
Yeah. Totally. I guess if you struggle with consistency, you just hire Dustin, and that's really what it boils down to. So any creative pros out there, shout out to the old Dustin. So hook him up. Yeah. What I hear and what has helped me, and what we're going to break down here in just a minute, is it really comes to creating a system. And I have not been great at system building over the years, right?
Like
especially
an operating system.
Like an operating system, like a content creation operating system. Shout out to 1898. If you're looking for somebody to do that for you, hey, just, give us a call.
Okay.
No, looking at it over the years, like, I think it's probably because I'm a creative mind, right? So it's easy to, like we're just saying, I love to start things, and it's kind of just like that. I don't really have like a destination all the time when I'm creating something. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna write this song, maybe, I'm gonna just kind of put this stuff together, or I'm gonna create this design, or it's like sometimes I didn't have my mind just kind of didn't have a system to it. It was just whatever I felt. And to your point, it was fun, right? I was having fun with it. So it was just kind of like, okay, I don't have a system yet. And one thing that, Dustin, as you've been working with us here at 1898 for the last couple of years, is you've really helped us build those systems and put those things in place. And so when it comes to staying consistent in your content, I think one thing that you have to do is you have to build a system, and a system that works for you. And so the framework that we will put together and kind of outline, it might sound elementary, it might sound basic, but if you put these things into practice, I promise you will stay consistent.
That's right.
And you will see results. And so the framework is pretty simple. It's batch, repurpose, repeat. Batch, repurpose, repeat. That's what we're going to do. Right. And the first thing is just batching everything together. And that's something that I think we might overlook over the course of time. And some people go, well, I don't have X amount of time to do all of those things or whatever. And we'll talk about it here in a second, especially in the way that you've been working, Dustin, about different ways of batching. Yeah. But one of the big things that we have to start doing is we have to batch similar tasks together. One of those things being, if we're filming a podcast or if we're filming a video, okay, let's do more than one, right? Let's figure out a way of capturing this, same thing a few times in a row. So yeah, I think if you did this right, you could easily get a month's worth of content. So 4 long form pieces of content done in a day. Yeah. Easy. No problem at all. Even if you're doing long form like podcasting, where it might be 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, right? You could still do that in a day, but you're batching that together. You're picking a time on the calendar and you're saying, this is when I'm going to do this weekly, monthly, maybe even quarterly, if that's what it takes, right? Mm-hmm. You got to batch those things together. And then that also includes all of the other tasks that go with that recording. I'm thinking titles. I'm thinking thumbnails, your design elements that go into it, your description, where you're getting into the copywriting of things. Get into that mode, into that mental space, and allow that to be a few hours, once a week, once a month, however that works for you. But you batch your tasks together in order to make that happen. And Dustin, you've really taught me some of this stuff over the years, but you've kind of done it one way and then you switched it recently to work with. So when it comes to batching, what does that look like for you, and how have you seen it be successful for people that you work with?
Yeah, I think where people often fail here in this consistency quest and batching is that they think that because I have to be consistent, I have to do it the same way every time. And I think that those things can live exclusive from each other.
Yeah.
Because Darren's saying, hey, record a handful of episodes together, and then at another sit down moment, edit episodes together, and then another sit down moment, thumbnail the episodes, and another sit down moment, description, all the things, right? And that worked for me for a long time. Mm-hmm. In my quest to 100 episodes, right? But what's working for me in this current season of life is my consistency looks like every Thursday morning, I'm going to take 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes, I think is what I have on my calendar. I'm going to take 90 minutes every Thursday morning. I'm going to record an episode. And I'm going to edit the episode. I'm going to do the thumbnail for the episode. I'm going to schedule the episode. And it's done. And I will make sure I do that a couple of weeks out. So every time I'm doing it, I have a little bit of margin, right? I'm not trying to hey, it comes out the same day that I'm recording it. Right. That's like, that to me is stressful. That's stressful. I was going to say it's insanity, but it's stressful. So that's what it looks like for me right now. Now the planning side of it, I do monthly. I will plan out uh at least a month or more's worth of episodes once a month. I have a recurring task on my Asana project management tool that says
Yeah.
it's time to plan out the next 4 to 6 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm doing everything in one sitting. So my batching is like, this is my moment. So it's more of a calendar batch than it is a task batch.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, there's more ways to
Sure.
batch tasks as
Sure.
well. But I don't think there's a right way. There's a right way for everybody.
Right.
I think
Right.
it depends on what your season of life is right now. Maybe
Yeah.
you're a stay-at-home parent and you have different obligations at different times of the day. There's so many variables out there, but I think having grace on yourself, but also enough self-awareness to be able to do that is super important.
Yeah. No, I love that. And one big reason that I wanted to ask you about that is because you have switched the way that you've quote unquote batched your stuff recently.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because I'm somebody that likes to put it together. Oh, we're going to batch this way, and then I'm never going to move from it because that's just, I hate change or something, right?
Right.
And you've kind of come alongside and said, hey, give yourself grace. Like for me right now, I got 4 young kids at home, and it's hard to always do things perfectly the way that I want to all the time. So what are the ways in this season that I can still take on the idea of batching, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to do that? But I don't have to be so like rigorous about, this is the only way of doing it. Like
Right.
flow in it a little bit. But the purpose behind this first step in the process is to make sure that we're batching so that you're not stressed out. Like Dustin was saying, you can't record and edit and deliver all on the day that it's due, right? And that's just insanity.
Insanity.
Yeah. And so I think the big part here to take away is to make sure that you're batching. Figure that out and get it on the calendar. So find a time, record 3 or 4 videos. I would say 4, and then allow those things to be taken from there. But like Dustin said, maybe it's 1 a week and you're finishing all the way through, whatever that needs to look like. But the big thing is take that batching idea and move it forward. So
yeah.
That's the first step of the process. The next is repurpose, which we are extremely highly like we are cheerleaders for this part of the process.
Yeah.
Because I think all of us know that we need to have content and we need to have content everywhere. And we were even talking earlier about consistency and being in front of people and the importance of that to build trust and authority. But this is where everything hinges, I think, is because we spend time creating a lot of content. We sit down. I mean, for us, for example, currently almost 20 minutes in at this point, and we have 20 minutes worth of content that we would just push out once a week and then we'd leave it.
Right. But we've covered probably at least 3 topics already, at least 3 segments of the bigger topic, right?
Yeah.
So already we've got the whole episode.
Yep.
But then we also have 3 longer clips.
Yep. I like where you're going.
And then inside of those 3 clips, we probably have got 6 quotable moments.
Yep.
It's a pyramid scheme, folks. We're just
we're giving you the pyramid scheme of content creation here, folks. You've heard it here first.
There's no genius. It's a pyramid scheme.
Yes. Oh man, I'm so quoting that. That's going to be one of the shorts right there. I'm telling you. That's good. That's good. But no, I love that, Dustin, because you said it exactly right. Like even at the beginning, we talked about the importance of consistency, right? We talked about that for 3 to 4 minutes, probably.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing. That's a whole YouTube video.
5-minute YouTube video right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I love about this is people go, man, what do I do? What do I do? How do I create more content? And I'm like, man, if you're doing the long form, you've already created it. Yeah. Right. And now we pull that out, and simply what you do is you just retitle it. Right. You look at, we were talking about consistency. So titling it something around that idea that's a good hook, that's a good idea. Yeah. And now that's a whole another piece.
Three reasons why consistency changed the game for you and your content. Something along those lines.
Boom. Boom.
Put a little number in there. People love numbers. 3 reasons, 5 reasons, 6 whys, 2 whys.
Yeah.
Odd numbers.
One of those. How-tos, one of the things. So. Yeah, no, that's exactly it. As far as I love how you broke that down. You were like, look, we've already hit 3 things already in the last 20 minutes. And that's exactly it. You start to look at it differently when you start to see the pyramid scheme in full frame. Oh, that's so good.
It reminds me of that scene in The Office when Michael's like, "It's not a pyramid scheme, Jim," and Jim walks up to the whiteboard and just draws a triangle around it and goes, and then just quietly sits down. And he's like, "I got to make a phone call."
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. I love it. That is so true. But even beyond just the video content, Dustin, it goes further than that, right? Like taking the idea around this podcast and creating blogs and pulling out quotes and doing graphics or carousels, or even the idea of sending out to your email list, just like we're talking about consistency. And instead of the whole picture, we're doing exactly what you said, the 3 ways to stay consistent, or 3 ways consistency changed the game for me. And now we're writing an email, and that's going out to our list, or we're putting that into social media posts in some way, shape, or form. It goes so much further than just the video content.
That's right.
It is all across the board. LinkedIn posts, blog posts for your website. And what I love about this too, Dustin, that a lot of people don't think about is everybody's like, how do I get more SEO on my pages or my website or all this stuff? And all you have to do is create that blog post on your website that you put the title, you put the description, you put all the show notes and everything, but then you also put the video and the audio, and then you put the transcript in there that we've spent the last 20, 30 minutes saying all the hot keywords that we say in our business. And now Google has a whole thing that it can scrape on your website that just puts that SEO at the top. So that's not going to be like, that doesn't replace SEO companies if that's a real big push that you're doing, but it's going to help in the long run. Yeah. And that's all from repurposing your content. And that's why I'm saying, man, the second thing that you got to grasp is you got to look at every piece of content, especially the long form, and say, how can I chop this up into as many things as possible? And once you start to see the pyramid scheme, you'll start to see it come together in some really, really cool ways. And
if that's not the title of this episode, we're doing it wrong. The pyramid scheme of content.
Yes. The best way to grow with content is using this pyramid scheme or something.
Yeah, one pyramid scheme you're going to want to be a part of.
That's it. That's the winner right there. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Well, let's hit. So we got batch, we got repurpose, and I always say that when I say it, it sounds weird. Repurpose.
You say repurpose, and I've never heard anyone say that before. I've always heard repurpose. But I'm from the South, and we put the emphasis on the first syllable. So we're going to watch the TV. We're listening to the CD. Like we put the emphasis. So we're repurposing. So we put the emphasis there. You're from the Midwest. Y'all kind of somewhere in the middle or the second half of the other word, repurpose.
I've never
Sounds very intelligent. You should. Yeah, I say stick with it.
Okay. All right. So you're going to batch and you're going to repurpose.
Repurpose.
And then you're going to repeat.
Or repeat.
Repeat.
You're not wrong. I mean, if we say repeat.
Repeat.
If we say repeat. If we say repeat, we should say repurpose. Anyway too much time on this.
So yes, the third one is to repeat this over and over and over again, which goes back to our point of staying consistent. So you gotta choose that weekly time to either do the whole thing like Dustin was saying earlier, or to film all of your videos in one. And then you got to find that time, put it on the calendar, and just make it a repeatable thing. Dustin, we use Asana, like you were saying, the task management software. and just make those things repeat all the time. Once you check it off, it goes to the next time that it needs to pop up, and then you don't have to think about it, and get that system built. And Dustin, you're really, really good at this. So I'm going to put you on the spot here and have you kind of break down like, okay, I'm a coach out there. I might not be the great at organizing and all this. I'm hearing these repeated tasks and this stuff. What would be a simple way, like a simple takeaway that we could leave with the listener today of like, okay, you're saying I want to step into this batch, repurpose, repeat thing. How could you set that up in a calendar and or task manager? Give us maybe a little bit of a framework there that would really help. I'm putting you on the spot, but
you are putting me on the spot. I think the biggest hack here is one of the words that we've already used, and that's repeat. So it doesn't really matter what digital tool you use to remind yourself. Every reminder app, every project management tool, every calendar has an option inside of it when you set it that says, hey, do you want me to repeat this like ever again, or do you just like this one time? And you can it's crazy. You can customize it to be as little or as much as you like. I have reminders and tasks in my Asana that go off once a year so that I don't forget it.
Yeah.
It's about the repeat option.
Yeah.
Use the same framework that we're talking about in this episode and go, I'm putting this in my calendar and I'm going to hit repeat. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, I have something that happens on my calendar every Thursday morning for 90 minutes to create a podcast episode. Yeah. I don't go in every Sunday night and go, I got to add that to my calendar this week. That's ridiculous. No one would ever do that. They would put it on their calendar once and say, I'm going to do this weekly on Thursdays at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's literally just adding the repeat button because then next week you is going to come up and be like, oh yeah, I said I was going to do that, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
I got to do it. It's in front of me.
Yep. And then you do that 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, now you're staying consistent.
Yeah. It's the content snowball.
Content snowball. Man, you are just full of gems today on the
I'm stealing that from
pyramids,
debt snowballs. Yeah. Pyramids and snowballs. Oh my. Content creating in 2025. I'm writing these headlines for you.
I'm telling you, we're just pulling this out. I'm just gonna say these are all the titles, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna spread them out. We'll like A/B test them across the board, see which one really, really kind of stands out. So
you're showing how the sausage is made.
Oh man,
that's what it's about.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's the big thing that in something like I've said 100 times already that you've helped me with, Dustin, is just pulling out the calendar, pulling out the task manager, getting things in there, kind of like big rocks, that you put in first, then the smaller rocks and the smaller, and just allowing for that time to continually pop up, stay consistent. If it's in front of me, you get it done. And that's what building this framework is about. Because if you put this framework together and you install it into your business, I promise you will stay consistent. I promise you will start to build trust with your audience. And I promise you will become the authority in your field because you're out there making it happen time and time again.
Yeah.
So batch, repurpose, repeat. Yep. I'm going to think about every time I say repurpose now, but batch, repurpose. Repeat. Gosh, so weird. So weird. Anyway, Dustin, as we wrap up on this, any other thoughts, any other things that come to mind when it comes to creating this framework to help coaches stay consistent with their content?
Yeah, I mean, starting is fun. We said that at the beginning, but finishing takes work, right? So just commit to a short term. Don't say, I'm gonna release a daily episode every day this year. Well, that's a lot. Like, just start small. Like for me right now, I'm trying to get consistent in my exercise routine. I have a simple little app called Streaks, and I will show it on the camera to keep so the audience can keep me accountable.
We're coming for you, buddy.
You're coming for me. But on my Streaks, right here, I'll show it on my screen. On my Streaks app, so I can get my face out the way.
Yeah.
Wait, there it is. So it's literally just a button.
Yeah.
You can have a record little emblem there, and just every day you do it, or every time you do it, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, you just go in there and you hit it. So it's like you're playing a game. Like, it's the term in today's world is gamify it.
Yeah,
right. So gamify it a little bit.
Yeah.
Go, I'm going to record weekly for the next 4 weeks, or I'm going to record monthly for the next 3 months. Like, whatever it is, set yourself up for success. Don't set yourself up for failure. Be like, I'm going to release a 2-hour podcast every day for the next 5 years. That is a lot. You know what I mean? Just like set yourself up for some success, because the snowball happens in those little victories.
Yep.
Right. And you go, okay, yep, I got it. 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 I got it.
Yep.
That's how, going back to the beginning again, that's how greatness is made.
Yep.
Consistency.
Yep. And that's so true. And it's so good. And the thing is that content doesn't have to run your life, right? It doesn't have to run everything that you do, which in today's age, it can easily feel that way, right? It's over. You're seeing the Gary V's of the world being on every platform 27 times a day. And you go, how can I do that? And I think, much like Dustin's helped me experience, give yourself a little grace, start the snowball effect, and just do, for the next 4 weeks, once a week, I'm going to do X thing.
Yeah.
And that's going to start to really make content not run your life, but be something that makes it a little bit more beautiful. So when you install this framework and you make these things happen, you're going to see it work for you and not against you.
An operating system should run itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's what we're getting at here, is that it's one catalytic action that produces all these other amazing results, and it's running itself in the background. One long form piece of content, pyramid scheme.
Yes. We've officially created the pyramid scheme, and that's what we're going to be known for now.
I love it.
That's great. Well, thanks for taking a minute to join us on this episode of the Coaching with Content podcast. Like I said, my name is Darren Cooper, run an organization called 1898 Creative. This is Dustin Peed. You can find him at dustinpeed.com. For all you creative pros out there, you're going to want to reach out. He'll change your life. With that being said, we'll see you here next week on the Coaching with Content podcast. Go out now and create your art.